Hello, everybody. Greetings. It's Dr. Matt. Cheers to you. I wanted to do a video here for the dojo. I haven't done one in a long time. As always, I just want to send love from the heart and transmit kindness and goodness that we remember we are love. We are waves on an infinite ocean of love. We are clusters of vibration, each of us, co-evolving with each other, co-creating with each other, co-seeing each other and seeing a new world into existence. And I just bring you lots of kindness and compassion and ease and friendship of soul. What a year. I have been very quiet the last 6 months, very quiet, very inward. The inward stroke, as one of my teachers used to call it, the inward stroke in the movement of consciousness. And really just really honestly cleaning up and growing up. That's what I wanted to talk to you today about. I just wanted to talk about our collective awakening real quick. No big fireworks here. That's not my style. That's not my intent. I just love the idea that, this pandemic is really a part of our personal and collective hero's journey. In Joseph Campbell's work, the hero or the heroine first feels a call to adventure. There's something deep within the soul that kindles and speaks, on an inward level, or will create a series of circumstances or events outward that call us into adventure. I personally love the idea of adventure that's fun and exciting and travel to distant lands and meet cool people and, meet wizards and shamans and sages. And sometimes the call is different. The call to adventure is different because it comes in the form of an opponent. Sometimes it's an outer opponent and sometimes it's an inner opponent. Sometimes it's both. So in this case, we could say that all of us are facing our own outer opponent and inner opponents that are intricately interwoven with that outer opponent. And yet, if we take to be true that from the perennial wisdom perspective, there is an infinite ocean of intelligence that is intelligent love, unfolding and informing us as clusters of vibration, and that we are that too, and that our purpose in life is to feel, experience, embody, and transmit that to others, then all of this then is working for us. And I know that's not easy. So I wanted to talk about 4 components of our collective awakening during this pandemic. Real easy, no big deal. Stay with me. It's going to be a fast video. The first one is waking up. So number 1, waking up. So many people are in a waking up process, and so many people are in a falling asleep process. Waking up is inevitable. The end is certain. A Course in Miracles says the end of the dream is certain. The end, to the extent that the ego can go, is a timestamp on it, if you will. But if you're watching this, I presume that we're all sort of collectively in this awakening process, and for some of us it's gradual, and for some of us it's quite sudden. Well, what does waking up mean? It literally means that. It means waking up and seeing and perceiving things differently. Most often it means becoming aware of much deeper currents that, aren't picked up by, our eyes and our ears or our thoughts. There's something much deeper, much more profound, more essential, more substantial, more essential. The essence is essential, right? It's the same root word, essence and essential. And it's this waking up process to a higher power. I love the 12-step language, the higher power. So that's waking up. There's many pathways to that. Some people go to meditation retreats or have a meditation teacher. For some people, it's quite spontaneous. Other people maybe find it in formal religion. Other people find it in nature. They find it in yoga. They find it in martial arts. They find it in healing traditions. So that's the waking up process. There's 3 other requisite pieces of that, though. Very requisite. And in order for the awakening to become fundamental, in other words, in order for the aspirant to become established. In that awakened consciousness, there's 3 other components. The next is in growing up. So an awakening can produce a profound state change, right? We might feel great bliss, great expansion. Certain gifts may come, intuition, energy seeing, and also just a sense of joy of like, whoa, this is incredible. You might get lit up around certain teachers or around a spiritual community. But remember, those are states. States come and go. Stages are what we're aiming for here. So states are horizontal. We've all met people, God knows we've all been in this position where we can have a big change in our state, but it may not necessarily translate to a different stage of development, meaning more maturity, more depth, more wisdom, more compassion, more authenticity, more inclusion in our thinking, more ability to see multiple perspectives and appreciate, hold, and love multiple perspectives. That's the growing up piece. There's a few things that really engender growing up. One is a system of thinking or a system of thought that gives you accountability. I'm really grateful. I have a men's group. I have another support group that I'm in that has a system of principles that really give me an ability to do a deep dive into seeing where shadow operates in my life. So you can have a big state change and experience great, expansive, panoramic views of oneness, of light. But unless then that light can shine inward into the human condition, into the shadow, you don't see the growing up. Now, you don't need to be in a group to do this if you have the tenacity, courage, grace, and grit to just do the work. Byron Katie's work is a good example of this. Any shadow work technology is really effective. Therapy can be amazing for this. I'm a huge fan of psychotherapy that really engenders that spiral growth upwards. So wake up and then grow up. And by grow up, that's not a pejorative like grow up, but for some of us it is, right? Because one of the issues with postmodern awakening is this morbid fascination and absorption with our own emotional states and a full identification with those emotional states as who we are, as opposed to a more clear, sober, and lucid seeing of these emotional states as guideposts and signposts of where we're at and what needs to be done. Simply said, I'm not my thumb, but I have one. And so that perspective and that perspective taking is critical. So the next component is cleaning up. Whenever we act from a limited or lower or immature state of development, we can create suffering for ourselves and others. Said another way, when we act unconsciously from character defects, and I use that from the 12-step language, you can fill in your own definition there. When we act from those places, we hurt people. We hurt ourselves. We discount ourselves. And so remember, hurt and stressed people create hurt and stress for other people. So there's cleaning up. Really, cleaning up in our culture is not a very common or fun thing that most people want to do. And where we see that culturally is in 12-step programs. But it's never hard to write someone an email and say, I'm sorry. It's never hard to pick up the phone call. It's not worth it to hold on to resentment, because the greater degree to which we hold on to resentment and don't clean up our messes, not only is it not kind, but it keeps us stunted in certain ways of seeing the world that eclipse us from this vast, beautiful, luminous, panoramic view of glory that we are. And it gives us a sense of redemption. I love that word, redemption. So we have wake up, clean up, grow up. Lastly, show up. We show up 100%. Boots on the ground. What are my marching orders today, God? And show up. We really show up fully. We give 100% to everything without concern for how it's going to be. We show up. We give 100%. Because we know we're confident in who we are and where we come from. We're source energy. We are aligned source energy as a cluster of vibration. We show up 100%, give our 100%, and show up for others, to love them and steward and midwife and just be the friend to people who might need that. Thanks so much, guys. Love you.